Settle down, settle
Chat's going
down.
crazy.
Please stop. Please sit.
Take a seat. They can hear us?
How's everybody doing?
Wow. You all look so good tonight. Let me hear you scream.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all the screams I'm looking for. Where's Maria? Can she hear us? Is she here?
Maria will be on in just a sec, I think.
What's everyone's favorite song from the album?
Yeah, shout out your favorite song. Now. Oh shit. Oh my god.
All right, those look like all the songs.
Looks like all of them.
Thank you all for coming.
And for your love and support, and couldn't do it without y'all.
It's an exciting day. We're all feeling the love today. We're currently at rehearsal.
Finishing rehearsal.
Coys.
How many people are there?
Hey, it's Maria. Sorry,
Yo.
I'm a little late. Do you want to just chill in here?
Cheers.
How's it going? If you've listened to the album already, thank you. Y'all are quick, and I love that. If you haven't, then this can be our first time listening to it together. So I kind of want to know how y'all want to do this. We've never done this before. And yeah, so do you guys prefer that we play the album just front to back and then we talk about the songs and the album and everything? Or do you guys prefer that we do like a track by track? So like we'll play the first one and then stop, and then, you know, we tell you about that track by track, or it looks like everybody's saying track by track.
Looking like we're gonna do
Okay, so we'll do the whole album once, do you think?
Okay. Let's give it looks like there's still a few more people like kind of trickling in right now. So let's give it a second before we start the first one. But I guess I'll just ask you guys, have you heard the album, yes or no?
Crazy if they haven't for this. Wow.
Okay. It looks like the majority is a yes.
No in there.
So okay, so there's still some no's. That's good too. Obviously either way is totally fine. If you have heard it, then it won't be as like you know what? If you have heard it, I was gonna say it won't be as like surprising for you, but I feel like anytime I listen to an album, even though I've heard it like a million times, I still like discover new sounds and like new things or like new ways of looking at the song. So even if you've heard it before, it can still, you might still hear like some new things. Okay, next question. Do you have headphones on?
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Well, I beat you. So we recommend that you have headphones on. This is a headphones album, which is why the gatefolds, I'm wearing headphones, and like in a lot of the underwater photos, I have these headphones on because we kind of want everybody to go to a place where you like feel safe being alone and have like a really introspective and like independent experience with the album. So like even if you're with somebody else, like, and you have AirPods, I would just put on your AirPods. And this is a recommendation, obviously, do what you want. But even if you're with somebody else, like put headphones on and have like a very independent experience with the songs, because yeah, a lot of the songs, like the theme is very much like being alone and solitude and loss. And I just think that those like experiences are better, you know, better listened to alone. But again, do what you want, obviously. Okay. Well,
Maria,
guys, do you have anything to say about the album like before we get started?
it took we put a lot of love into this album, and we feel very proud of it, and I feel very proud of it, and I can't wait to play it live for you guys and for you guys to hear it if you haven't heard it already. It's definitely I think it grows on you. We'll see.
Yeah.
I was also saying, Maria, do you want to do like the first 2 songs and then talk, and then do like 2 more, or do you want to do like one?
I think let's do probably the intro into the first song.
Yeah.
And then we'll do it like we'll stop after each song.
Cool.
Lucy just walked in the door.
All right, everyone say hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
She just walked in the door. She knows how to open the door on her own. So yeah, she's in here right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I think like Josh said, you know, it's an album that kind of grows on you. Because there's so many like layers and sounds and meanings behind things that it's like you discover something new every time. Sorry, what was that?
I said, and there's a lot of songs too, so
yeah,
it's a journey.
There's a lot of songs, and some of the songs are like very different, you know, like a different vibe than what we've done in the past. So some people may hear it and just be like, this is too jarring for me, or this isn't, you know, super clean era enough for me, and that's totally fine. But we're just asking that you give it a little chance. Okay, cool. So let's then start.
Let's do it.
So Submarine, the first song is Ride. Let me
Comfortable. Grab some tea, sit back,
and enjoy the
what? Oh.
Enjoy the
Okay, hold on. I'm looking for it. Hold on.
Enjoy
enjoy the ride. Okay, so that was Ride, track 1, into Hamptons, track 2.
Freak Marine is crazy.
I love Freak Marine. I love that. I cannot get enough.
Y'all a couple of Freak Marines.
Freak Marines. I love it. Wait, is that what we're gonna call each other now? Freak Marines?
I don't know.
I'm down.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Freak Marinos.
Freak Marinos.
Okay, so yeah, intro. Should we talk about the intro, Josh?
Yeah, let's talk about the intro.
I remember we were in the studio and we were listening to a lot of, I mean, should we talk about like inspiration, or how should we do this?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted something totally different than cinema for the intro.
Yeah, exactly.
And we were just, you and I were just jamming on like this crazy, I had just gotten this like effects box for the bass and guitar, and it had this crazy distortion, and I was like just playing around with some chords. You were listening to Air, and we just kind of wanted to like make something like dreamy but also hard hitting. You had the idea of like turning it, we were just like, it was going to be this whole song, but you're like, wait, what if this is the intro? And then it all clicked, and we were both just like, oh shit, this is crazy. And it's exactly what we were looking for, to like break out of, to just set the tone for, we're going to go something different for cinema, from cinema.
Definitely. I remember like once we were done with the track, I remember feeling like, okay, we have an album now. That was the moment for me that, you know, before that we just had like a collection of songs, didn't really know how they kind of fit together. But this intro made me feel like, okay, yep, we've got the album. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. And the vocoder edition, I think we did that and the vocoder and echo, which we'll get to in a bit, but there was 2 tracks that had vocoder in it, and we did them both, or I think around the same day, or like in the same like 2 sessions back to back. And I really wanted to add more vocoder to the whole album, which we ended up doing, but I wanted it to be more like lead vocoder stuff. But having the vocoder with the heavy bass guitar and like just like the hard hitting drum machine too was just felt right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Hamptons. This one is probably a curveball to a lot of you hearing it for the first time. And honestly, this was a beat that Josh had a while ago, and he just pulled it up, and it even took me a second to really get used to the beat. At first I was like, okay, this is interesting, but I don't really know like what to do it. Like my brain is confused, but I kind of like it. And then I heard it a couple more times. And I just like had the mic in my hand and started singing the lyrics and melody that you hear in the song. And I was like, oh, like this actually kind of works, and this is really interesting. And yeah, and it ended up being like one of my favorites, just because it is so different and it does grow on you in like a really cool way.
I made that beat the day before we played the Greek, and
Oh, wow.
the original name of the session is called Day Before Greek. And
Wow.
Ableton, yeah. The name is Day Before Greek, and then it's after a while, then it turns into Hamptons, but the original stems are called Day Before Greek.
Wow.
And I remember playing it to you like it was after the Greek, but I remember playing it to you, and you're like, "This is crazy," and I don't think you were down at the time, and so it just kind of like went on the back burner. And then when we came back to actually like work on Submarine,
Yeah.
just opened that session up, and we were like, "Oh, this is actually kind of."
I wasn't ready for it then. I don't think. Yeah, I wasn't ready.
And that's how music works sometimes. Sometimes you're just not ready for it. That's why, like, we'll get to Vicious later, but Vicious and Mice Inside This Room on Cinema, some songs are just not quite ready yet until they are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and so the song Hamptons, it's called Hamptons. I started writing the lyrics when I was in the Hamptons in New York. I have a friend who just had been like trying to get me to go visit, and I was always like, yeah, but the Hamptons, it's like I don't know. I just had a sour taste in my mouth. Just I don't know, the whole vibe, just what didn't feel like it was for me. And when I got there, it was actually like really pretty and really beautiful. And I remember just like walking around, and I mean, the manicured like yards and gardens and so many trees and nature. It was honestly beautiful. So I liked like this, I don't know, like I wanted to hate it, but I ended up loving it. And that's kind of like how I saw this track. Like, when I heard it for the first time, I was like, "Ooh, I don't know," but I ended up loving it. So
Yep.
okay.
Ron, what's next?
Okay. How do I
Should we go 2 at a time?
Do you guys want 2 at a time or 1 at a time?
I kind of feel like 2 is nice, because then we can like hear the transitions too. Yeah, it's
One,
gonna
two,
be this is gonna be conflicted. I think we're gonna go with 2
at a time.
Maybe we can change it up. Let's do 2 now, and then if we want to do 1 later, we can do 1 later.
We'll pick a special one to just go 1.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, hold on. Let me find it again. Okay, so up next, we're going to be listening to Echo and Run Your Mouth. Okay, so that was Echo into Run Your Mouth. So first, we can talk about Echo.
Echo.
Do y'all have any questions, or should we just?
I don't think that's gonna work.
I might be able to catch one. Throw me a question. Let me see if I can.
Does it have to be about Echo?
Yes, it has to be about Echo.
Inspiration.
The bubble sounds is a good question.
Okay. Yeah, Josh. Bubble sounds.
Bubble sounds. I took a bubble bath and I pitch shifted the bubbles.
Mic'd up the bath.
And
Don't try it at home though.
no, I didn't actually do that. That'd be crazy. Oh, that'd be real freaky. You're right. No, I just found some bubbles that I like. Sometimes you just gotta find some bubbles that you
How
like.
did you actually do the bubble sound, Josh?
I made them. I just made them.
Yeah, as you do. The meaning behind Echo. So it's just a song about being pulled into different directions, and kind of how that leaves you a bit paralyzed. and stuck. And yeah, so that's kind of the meaning behind Echo. What was the other question?
Oh, that was also the hardest song to mix.
Oh yeah, I mean we just we just like got a new version of the mix like last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were done up until a week ago. We finished mixing in January, and then about 2 weeks ago, we had a mix note.
Yeah.
Shout out to Neil being so patient and easy to work with.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one to play live too. We're still trying to figure that one out.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we are playing a show soon. If you're in LA, we're doing a little secret show potentially, but stick around if you want to hear more.
More on that soon.
It will be on Sunday in LA. We'll be playing Submarine live, but I'll like throw in details as we go.
You guys have been so tight these last 24 hours, and we're just like, oh shit, what if we just did a show?
Yeah.
But we'll get back to that. For now, let's talk about Run Your Mouth.
Yes. So Run Your Mouth. This song is just kind of about me being conflict avoidant. And by that, I just mean like at the time, I didn't want to hear from anyone about anything, like have difficult conversations, be in conflict. Like I wanted everything to just be good all the time. And I wanted to be comfortable all the time. I didn't, even just like in life, like if it was too cold, I would just like, I would want to find comfort, and kind of running away from discomfort is what I was doing at the time. And I realized that that's not the way that I wanted to live, because life has its ups and it has its downs, and there's no way that you can like resist any sort of difficulty or any sort of like conflict. It's just, it is what it is, and you just have to embrace it and not avoid it like I was doing. So Run Your Mouth is basically telling everybody around me to just leave me alone. Don't run your mouth. I can't do this anymore. Which I do, I still do at times, but I'm for sure working through it.
Everybody does.
Yeah. And Josh, do you want to talk about the production?
Yeah, originally it was a kind of like a deep house beat. Same melody, same chord progression, but like the production was like, there's just like a kick and bass and synth, and that was pretty much it. And I honestly, I still really want to hear that version come to fruition, but our A&R was like, what if it was more dancey and more like, more, what if it was better? I was like, all right, we'll make it better. But if any of y'all are producers and want to give it a stab and try making it into a deep house remix, feel free to do it. We'll post the acapellas somewhere, maybe a couple stems too.
Yeah. And we've got a couple of remixes going with this band that I love called 𝓕𝓻𝓮𝓪𝓴. They're very, very low key, but you guys should definitely check them out, and just be on the lookout for like those remixes because they're sounding really, really cool. The band is called 𝓕𝓻𝓮𝓪𝓴. I just thought it was like also just very on theme. All right. Should we run through what are the next two?
Real Life, Blur?
Real Life into Blur. Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. Now I gotta look it up again. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Real Life into Blur. Oh shit. Okay. So that was Real Life into Blur.
Yup, with a great intro to Blur, I must say.
My bad.
That
I
was
forgot to push play. I didn't know that anybody could hear me.
that was the 𝓕𝓻𝓮𝓪𝓴 version.
Okay, real life. We started writing this song. We were playing a festival in Dominican Republic. We were just in the Caribbean. We did a show in Puerto Rico and a show in DR, and we had like a few days off. And so we were like, let's just, go into a studio and just jam together as a band and, just to have fun, or maybe something will come out of it. And yeah, and that's how the song came to be. Shout out Puerto Rico, República Dominicana, Wepa. No, Josh, do you wanna talk about it too?
Yeah. That one came together super quickly. I felt like we were in the studio in DR, and I think that might have been the first thing we jammed on. Am I wrong?
It was the first song the four of us wrote together.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah.
That is the first song the four of us all wrote together.
I think it came together in about 25-30 minutes, the structure of it at least. And
Yeah.
Yeah. And Maria started singing the lyrics pretty fluidly, as she normally does, with the melody, and we were all like, "Oh, that's a nice melody." And
I always look at Josh, for validation. I need to get better at that. Like, I need to like feel confident and be like, yeah, this is sick. But for the most part, I look at Josh, and if Josh is like, yeah, then I'll keep going. And that's exactly what happened here. I was like singing the melody and the lyrics, and I like looked over and I just saw him nodding his head. I was like, okay, cool, I'll keep going.
Yeah, I remember you usually look at me and you'll be like, "Is like you're pretty sure it's good, but you're just like, it is, right?" And then I'm like, yeah,
exactly.
I remember I had to borrow a bunch of pedals while we were in that studio and messing around with that dun, 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 cathedral sound, and you playing that bass line, Josh, and that kind of like, I feel like kicked it off.
Yeah, that guitar line that Jesse played, that comes in right at the top of the song. That sound is the exact sound that we used from the DR because we couldn't replicate it in LA.
I didn't have that pedal here, and I don't remember the settings.
Yeah, so that sound is one of a kind.
But now we have Gabe kind of recreating it.
And yeah, that's a fun little fact. And then where do we go? Blur.
Yes, Blur. So this one was also a band jam. Josh wasn't here though. It was Jesse, me, our friend Marvin, Gabe, who plays trumpet. Shout out Gabe. Who else was in the room, Jesse?
I think it was just Eddie was also out of town that weekend.
Yeah, was it just the four of us?
Yeah, it was, and we were just like, let's just jam.
Yeah,
we had this there.
We had no expectation. We were just like, let's just get together and like play music. And yeah, and then I think Jesse probably started with the chords, and
I think Marvin or someone pulled up that drum loop, and then I just started playing those chords back and forth. For those guitar players in the chat, by the way, if you're trying to figure out that song, I'm playing it a half step down, so I could do all those open chords. So
the guitar is tuned a half step down.
Yeah, take that information as you will, and do what you want with that.
Yeah, and this song it was called Virgin Suicides for the longest time because it reminded me of like a song that would be on that Air soundtrack that they wrote for Virgin Suicides, the Sofia Coppola movie, which I love. It's so good. And so it was called Virgin Suicides. And then when Josh got back from his trip, I was like, hey, like there's this song that we were jamming on, and I think it's good. I think you're gonna like it. And so we pulled it up. We pulled up Virgin Suicides, and then Josh, worked his magic on the song as well. Played live drums. We, made the structure together, and he came up with that chorus melody, which I love, and finished off all the lyrics together and called it Blur because to me it felt like looking back, it just felt like. I say I'm in this. The sun looks so pretty here inside the room that I'm spinning in, and it's those times that like life and the past just feels like a huge blur, just based on any decisions that you've made or like anything that you've gone through. That like in the present moment, the past just seems like it almost doesn't. I mean, it doesn't exist in reality, but in your memory, almost seeing it as just like this big blur. And so I love also how chaotic it gets like towards the middle, because that also makes it feel even more just kind of like this chaos inside your brain.
Also, I see you asking what she's saying at the end of Blur. At the end, what are you saying in the background of Blur at the end? What are you saying?
Like the talking wise?
And yeah, and I just want to say, you just gotta really focus to find out. You just really gotta listen in.
You gotta close your eyes with those headphones on and really focus.
Just really try and lock in on that vocal take and see if you can just become one with that vocal.
It's not a tease. It's not a tease. I'm not saying
unless it is. Unless it is.
You know, I should have. That would have been a great moment to tease like the next project, but I wasn't thinking about that then. It was honestly just stream of consciousness, like whatever was coming out at the time. But I absolutely should have teased something. But you know, whatever. I was in the moment.
Or you did tease something and they got to lock in to find out.
Oh, actually, I did. I did. Not in the song, but in this, I did tease something.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. I did actually. I'll give you guys another clue on the secret LA show. So the next clue that I'm going to give you. So right now I've told you that there's a secret show on Sunday in LA. The next clue I'll give you is North Lot. Okay, on to the next two. What are the next two?
Paranoia and
Lejos.
Paranoia and Lejos de Ti. Let's do it. Here we go.
No mañana vida.
Okay, so you just heard Paranoia into Lejos de Ti. So let's talk about Paranoia first. So Paranoia, this was written also as a band. This was the second song we wrote together as a band. We were in the studio, the four of us, and just kind of jamming as we do. And I was in the vocal booth. Eddie was on keys. Josh, you were on bass.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when Josh plays bass, by the way. He's the best bass player. And Jesse was on guitar. And yeah, I think Eddie started playing some of the chords, and then, you know, Josh and Jesse kind of joined in, and I was just kind of vibing in the vocal booth. Our vocal booth is a closet here, but I really like it. And so I was just vibing in there, and then pretty much like the lyrics and the melody of the whole song and structure just kind of like came out. I didn't really have to, it just came out of nowhere. It's happened to me a few times that like the song will just literally come out of nowhere, and this is one of them. Yeah, it just happened, and we had a song.
Yeah, we in the jam, yeah, Eddie started playing those verse chords for Paranoia, and immediately we were already like, oh, this is a vibe. And then when we hit the chorus, I honestly feel like we, in like musically, like chord progression wise, we hit the chorus at the same time as you singing the chorus melody as well. And it was just one of those moments one of those magic moments. And
Marías Valentine's Day in the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all knew.
We were like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
That was.
Let's all take a minute to just appreciate the lyrical quality that Maria created for the entire year.
100%.
Please take a minute.
Please take 1 minute, everyone. We're gonna hop off for a minute and we'll be back.
Thanks, guys.
Maria absolutely.
Also melodies too, like the second verse, "Here I am."
Oh, that melody,
honestly, it's very Tom York, that melody, and we love that.
It's definitely one of those times I think we all collectively felt leaving the studio that we had just made something really special.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just, there's no better feeling than that.
No better feeling. I completely agree.
It's most fulfilling. It's like just satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the end of the night, you are full honk shoe vibe in bed.
Yes.
You just got your gown on with your little candlelight,
Tea, yeah.
the
Yeah,
candlelight
little candle.
and you're just going full honk shoe mode.
Flippers.
On shoe
Yeah.
mode.
Yeah.
Some freak Marines out there. We see you.
Yeah. So
Nightcap.
Lejos de Ti. Lejos de Ti also happened pretty quickly. Josh was playing the chords. I think he started on guitar, and he actually came up with that melody in the chorus that I love. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, yes, like this is the song that I've been waiting for the album, and I'm so happy that we're making it, because I just felt like Lejos de Ti was like the missing link of the album. And then it just, when I started singing the melody, it just came out in Spanish. Like normally, like when I write in English or Spanish, it's not like, I'm not like this song should be in English or this song should be in Spanish. It just kind of comes out. Because I grew up, listening to music in both languages and speaking both languages and all that. So it just happened naturally. And yeah, the lyrics and the melody for like the verses and the lyrics for the chorus came pretty quickly. I think I had a really hard time with the bridge, the lyrics in the bridge. I was like pulling my hair out. I was just, there's a video. We'll try to share it with you at some point. There's a video that Josh took of me just like on the couch, like angry, like trying to figure out these lyrics. And it was just, but anyway, we did it. And there is a shout out to 𝓕𝓻𝓮𝓪𝓴, No Me Queda Más. I love that song. And yeah. And then I remember finishing the song and being like, I cannot wait to send this to Jesse, because this is such a Jesse song. And then when we sent it, he loved it. And yeah, I just knew that he'd love it.
I remember you sent it to us and you were like, new Spanish one or demo or whatever. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what to expect. If it was gonna be like a reggaeton bop or a poppy banger or whatever. And then it started. I was like, oh, okay, here's what we're doing. It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah. I think we tried to write like a reggaeton sort of inspired song on this. Like we did the collaboration with Bad Bunny, and we were on Tiny's album, and I grew up listening to a lot of reggaeton, Don Omar, Zion y Lennox, Yankee. And so I wanted to try, but it didn't happen on this project. But I'm so happy that there's like a shoegazy song in Spanish, and I love it. Yeah.
Moving on.
Moving on. Unless y'all have any questions on Paranoia and Lejos de Ti. Hint. Y'all want a hint? Okay, a hint. Okay, a hint for the secret show.
enough.
I'll give them an. You know what? I'm just gonna. Yeah, if you go to our Instagram and you click on this link tree, there's a link tree link. The first thing on that link tree, it says LA Secret Show. If you tap on that and you RSVP, you're going to be sent an email with the address for Sunday. And it's open to the public. It's open, all ages. It's free. We're going to be playing Submarine. So yes, you can RSVP on that link. And the address will be there. All right, moving on. What are the next two songs?
We have
What is the point?
Just checking right now. We have Love You Anyway and I No Puedo.
Oh, it's too good.
Okay. Love You Anyway into I No Puedo. All right. Here we go. Wait.
all right. I know
Hey.
Puedo.
No, so we've got Love You Anyway.
And Love You Anyway. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next.
Love You Anyway, and then into I No Puedo. So Love You Anyway, we started a jam, I guess. Yeah, it was Josh, Jesse, and I in the studio, and we were just jamming, and we just hit this like flow state with this song. And just, yeah, I think we were just like came up with the melody, the lyrics, the whole thing, as we do when we jam. But we like wouldn't stop for like over an hour. I think there's like a recording of this jam that we did that was like 2 hours long. And when it goes on that long, it's like I know that it's like I don't know, that I like the song. And yeah, I love it because it's like these two different vibes in the same song. You've got this like, I don't know, kind of like this R&B element in the verses, and then this like kind of psychedelic, dreamy element in like the choruses. And I just love like going back and forth between those. And then the end I just love because it's like you're just being ascended into space.
Yeah.
a good one.
And that one, not to get too technical, but the drums in the second chorus weren't there originally. And once we started playing it live on our last couple shows we played, I was like, oh wait, we got to add drums in this part because it just feels so good. So we went back and added the drums to that section, and I know you guys were dying to hear that, so you're welcome for that little piece of knowledge. But that one was really, really fun to play live.
We leaked that one, right, a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was the drums not in the leak version? I don't remember.
I think they were. I think because we leaked like the final mix.
Well, on the album version, there's definitely that pause in there that's new.
Oh, true.
Oh yeah, the pause in the second verse.
I don't know if you guys noticed that. That's new. Anything else about that one?
Yeah. I mean, I love playing this one live, and we're going to be playing this one on Sunday. And yeah, I love it. It's my favorite right now.
Yeah, that was fun.
Okay, so I No Puedo. So we started writing this one. Actually, Josh, you start with this one because it was a track that you had started with 𝓕𝓻𝓮𝓪𝓴.
Yeah, our bassist
Shout out
𝓕𝓻𝓮 came up to me on tour one day and was like, hey, check out this little melody I've been writing. He's like, I just have this melody that I've been like playing every time I pick up guitar. And he played it to me on the back of the bus, and I immediately grabbed another guitar and we just started jamming on it. And yeah, it was exactly. It was that lead melody, and then with the chords, I was like, oh, this is spicy, 𝓕𝓻𝓮. This is spicy. And right when we got home from tour, he and I went into his studio and started recording it, just the instrumental. And that's pretty much, for the most part, what you hear on that recording is what we did at his house. At least the bulk of it. And then months later, because that was a while ago, months later, Maria heard it, and she was obviously very stoked about it. And Maria and I wrote the rest of the song in about a day for most part, until we decided very last minute. The last thing written on Submarine, actually, the very last lyrics that were written on Submarine was the second verse of I No Puedo.
Torture.
Por favor. That whole section was the very last thing written and recorded on Submarine. Because we were like, oh, we need to add a second verse to this song, which didn't have a second verse before. It just went straight to that bridge. But 𝓕𝓻𝓮 was like, I think we need a second verse. And I was like, I know how much work that's going to be, and Maria's going to hate to do this right now.
I don't like writing lyrics to like an existing melody. It's like filling in like a puzzle or something. My brain just does not like that. Like I like when the melody and lyrics come out like in flow state. So yeah, when I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's not a natural. Doesn't feel natural to write, or it doesn't feel as natural.
Turned out great though.
Turned out pretty great.
I was stoked when I heard it the first time.
And yeah, shout out to 𝓕𝓻𝓮, because he really gave us a sweet and spicy little.
Shout out Gabe on the trumpets in that one too.
Yeah,
Gabe, our trumpet player, came through with the trumpets on that. The the crazy sound you hear in the bridge is Gabe's trumpet with some effects. And this one's also very exciting live too.
Also, when you put together that album trailer, when we announced the album, you put bits and pieces of, I don't know if you guys noticed, but part of I No Puedo's in that too.
A lot of I No Puedo's actually. Yeah, the drum fill, that crazy trumpet is in there.
Yeah.
If you go back and listen to the trailer, there's
other songs in there
a
too.
lot of things that you notice. Plus, like the end of Echo, your voice is an echo, and I'm a echo of your love.
And obviously Hamptons and Ride.
Yeah, it's all samples from the album. Check it out again. Maybe
someone also asked what the sample was at the end of
Yes. So that is my dad. I was in the vocal booth and I just called him and I was like, papi, like, dime qué es el amor para ti? ¿Qué significa el amor para ti? What does love like mean to you? And I think I was just asking him questions about like, how does a relationship work? And, all these things. Because he's very romantic. He would always like bring my mom flowers and gifts and, mariachi bands. And he's very, very hopeless romantic. So I asked him, and one of the things that he said was, el amor te tiene que decir, ay, no puedo. And I love that because you can see that as like a positive, it's like, el amor te puede decir, ay, no puedo, like, ay, no puedo más con este amor, like, no puedo más que, it feels so good. But then on the other hand, it's like, ay, no puedo con este dolor, like, I can't with this pain. So I loved that could like mean both of those things. And I think in this song in particular, I think it meant like, ay, no puedo con este dolor, like, I can't with this pain. But yeah, I think you can see it both ways. And I love that like we immortalized his voice and it's forever out there. It's really special for me. And yes. And Ibiza, someone asked, is that the Ibiza in Duluth, Georgia? I'm from Georgia and I know what you're talking about, but no, I was referring to the island of Ibiza. I've never been, but I just always see like people there like dancing and grinding and, so I was like, yeah, I would hate to see that. But anyway, moving on to the next two. What are the next two?
Grind Marines.
Vicious?
Perreando, I don't want to see it. No, I don't want to see it.
Oh, no one noticed.
Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. So the next ones are No One Noticed and Vicious. Here we go. Oh, hold on. Here we go. No. Okay. So you just heard No One Noticed and Vicious Sensitive Robot. Okay.
Sure.
So No One Noticed. I started writing that one on guitar in 2020 during the pandemic. I think if you're following the band at that time, you probably saw me post like a demo of it with the Paris, Texas scene. And we just kind of like put it to the side for a while. But I always thought about the song, and I always knew that it should, be made into an actual song. And then I took it to our friend Luca Bucciolati, and we just kind of like, we had a little bite of an edible and made the song. And then Josh added his magic touches and kind of tweaked the structure a little bit. I think Luke and I had it a little bit longer, and Josh kind of condensed it, which it needed to be. And and then that little like bridgey part, the "come on, don't leave me," that part. I was peeing. I was in the bathroom and it just came to me. It popped into my head and I was like, this is interesting. And the lyrics, the melody were all there. And then I sang it to Luca and Luca was like, yeah, let's record it. Like, yeah, let's try it. And, and then I knew that I wanted the vocal stacks and everything to build. And so we did like the center vocal and then we basically added like 3 vocals per harmony, like one in the center, left, right, and then just built it. And like I loved like adding little layers and writing little parts. And then Jesse came over and recorded the guitar that you hear in the middle. That's like so magical. I love that moment. It's like one of my favorite moments of the entire album. And yeah, and that's basically No One Noticed. But it's I love playing that song live because I play guitar. And you'll hear it on Sunday. And yeah, that's No One Noticed. Vicious. Josh, you want to take this one?
Oh yeah. Vicious is kind of freaky, not gonna lie. That song actually started in 2015.
That song started long before the Marías.
Long before the Marías were even an idea. Before Maria and I even met. That was a song that I wrote as it was originally like a punk song, and it was it was a punk song that just like never saw the light of day until years later when we were actually writing Cinema. Maria and I
during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. She obviously knew about the song and she was like, whatever happened to that song? And we are like, what if we like Maria-fied it and turned it into what it is, pretty much almost entirely of what it is now. And it wasn't quite ready for Cinema. We didn't feel like it fit on the album, and it was just, it just wasn't ready.
I remember like during the thick of COVID, we were all at home, you sending it to me, and then I threw on some guitars at my dad's house when I was living with him, and then sent it back, and that like feedback you hear when you're singing your line, that was from then, which is cool.
Yeah. Y'all just weren't ready for it yet, Y'all just weren't ready until you were, and we feel like
we weren't either until we were.
Yeah, you've grown with us, and now it feels like the time for it to come out.
Also, the strings on that one too.
The strings were new. The strings were very new. I think our A&R had the idea of like, I think he thought he heard strings on it, and I was like, I don't think there are any strings. But I don't think I knew damn well there weren't. And then he was like, what if? And I was like, what if? And I wrote that string part as MIDI strings very, very late into the game. And then we went to East West and had our string arranger, Ben Babbitt, organize all the players for us. Shout out Ben, he arranged the strings on Cinema, like Just a Feeling and The Mice Inside This Room. And we went to East West and recorded them, and that was a fun day. That was also one of the last things we did on the album. But yeah, that was written a long time ago, lyrics and all.
I'm glad it's on the album though.
Yeah, me too. And there's always like a deep cut on the album. On Cinema, it was The Mice Inside This Room, that Josh and I it was one of the first songs that we had ever written together. And yeah, and this one, it was Vicious. And I've always loved this song, and it sounds so good live. I cannot wait for y'all to hear this live. It's so good. And yeah.
If you want to hear the OG version, you're just gonna have to play it double time.
God, do you still have
change the drums to a double time beat, and you pretty much got it.
We also tried to do a dancey version. You remember?
Yeah. There was a middle version where it was somewhere in the middle and didn't quite work.
Oh, that one
I like. Vicious was. I'm so excited for it to finally be out. It's been a long time coming.
For sure. Okay.
Next up,
Sorry, what?
No, I just said next up.
Okay, next up, we've got If Only. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Everyone say bless you, Eddie.
Yeah, so up next we've got If Only and Sienna. Probably, I'd say No One Noticed, If Only, and Sienna are like the saddest songs on the album. Would y'all agree? If you've heard it, would y'all agree, guys?
Yeah.
No,
No, I mean,
I
yeah.
think so.
for sure.
Yeah, those are the ones that like I get that gut wrenching, feeling, especially when we play them live. I'm like, don't cry. So yeah, so here we've got If Only and Sienna. Last two on the album. Here we go. Hope y'all are okay. Here's Sienna. Okay, so those were the album closers, If Only and Sienna.
Yay.
Yeah.
So If Only, this was my favorite for such a long time. I remember Josh and I were in the studio and we were just kind of like going through a bit of like a writer's block few days and feeling really discouraged and just being like, can we even write songs anymore? Like, and Josh was just sitting at the piano and he was just playing some chords, and the melody and lyrics just came. And I loved that it felt like a lullaby. It felt like something that we needed at that time. Like we needed to sing ourselves a lullaby, almost like a soothing song, because we were just really frustrated. And yeah, and Josh, like, I love the production of this because it's so like simple but so tasty and so pretty. And Gabe came in and recorded trumpets. Like when we were writing the song, it reminded me of like an old like bolero song, and so I was like, we need to get trumpet on this song and like kind of, bring that back a little bit. So we called in Gabe and he played the beautiful trumpet that you hear. Yeah.
Killed it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then Sienna.
Yeah, so this this song is obviously it's like a heartbreak, like breakup song, but I think told from the point of view of like a future that will never be, and a future being like, when you're in a relationship, like you think, you'll be with that person forever, you'll have a family together if you want a family, and I always said that like I didn't, I don't know if I want kids, but if I ever did in another life, then I would name her Sienna. And so this is, so it's Sienna. And yeah.
It is definitely the saddest song on the album, in my opinion. And we've got a couple sad ones, but this one I think takes the cake. Every time I hear this song, it's like, oh damn, this one
Yeah.
really knows how to get those tear ducts working.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just like that it's like a different, I don't know, perspective on like a heartbreak, of like singing about, this, child or this family that will never happen.
Sonically, though, I love how it builds up at the end to end the album.
Yeah.
I mean, and that sound at the end was it the exact same sound as the intro too? So it kind of bookends.
Mhm.
Yeah, the intro and the outro are the same.
We love a good bookend.
Yeah, definitely.
We do love a good bookend. And yeah, the big finale is kind of, in my mind, it's kind of like almost getting like swallowed by the submarine.
Mm.
Like you're like, you kind of just went through this journey, and then that doesn't mean like you're lost forever. It could actually mean that you got out of it, but you just kind of get enveloped in this whatever it is, the sound, the environment that you're in, and then it could mean that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, which is kind of where I think it means. And you know, no one knows the answer to that, but yeah, that's what I think it means, at least. And then who knows what's gonna happen after, you know what I mean? You know what I mean, chat? Who knows what's gonna happen after?
Who knows? For me, like, I love the ending because it's, you know, like the album almost feels like this escape. You're like escaping into this like different world for a second, and then, you know, the end, like it ending so abruptly, it like brings you back to reality. So it's almost like, you know, when you daydream of the past, or when you daydream about somebody, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's not actually, that doesn't exist. Like the reality is right here and right now. And so, and that can be jarring. So I love that ending.
All right, should we run it back?
Who else? Let's run it back.
To the top again.
Wow, now. We're gonna do acapella the whole time.
Yeah.
What?
We're gonna run it back, but it's gonna be acapella the whole time.
Oh my God. We could. I don't know. Eddie, what are your thoughts on these last two? I know yeah.
No, I remember the day maybe you guys had stopped, I think, or finished If Only, and I was just almost in tears. I thought it was one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. That minor major 7 at the end made it seem so James Bondy, and I just thought it was, yeah, just one of those. I listened to that song actually this morning when I was driving. For whatever reason, I was like, I'm gonna listen to Submarine, and I put on If Only.
Well, now it's on Spotify. So
Yeah.
My
Anyways,
go-to song, if I ever wanted to listen to a song on Submarine, is Blur. For some reason, it's just like it fits like my flow. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go around. It's obviously gonna change, but between the four of us, what's your favorite Submarine song right now? Right now is the key word.
Okay, right now, I'm a Love You Anyway.
Ooh.
Early, because just like the way that it sounds live and the way that we've been rehearsing it sounds so good, and it like transports me, and then like the drums and the breaks, it's just so tasty. And I love the outro. That's like, yeah, it's just yes, that's my song right now. Very tasty.
Eddie, I know what yours is.
I don't know. It changes like everybody else's, and that's what's been amazing about this album, is just seeing all of our friends post different songs and seeing how each song speaks to so many different people. I think there's something about Paranoia that it's just it still hits me, and it still makes me feel a certain way. So I don't know when that will stop being my favorite, but it's been for a long time.
I'm gonna go and say I am a Hamptons freak for sure. I honestly, I can't get enough of that song. Call me a freak if you will.
Yeah, for me, it changes every day. But yeah, I think today especially after rehearsal today, playing Blur it just felt so good. It feels so good to play it on guitar. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I love that song so much, and the vibe. I feel like it's just kind of like an extension of my style. It's the perfect song.
And that's Submarine.
All right, let's run it back. Here we go.
That is Submarine. That is the album. Thank you guys so much for being here and for hyping us up.
Yeah.
And your questions.
We love you
and
guys.
just for listening. Like, thank you so much.
Y'all a couple of freak Marines for sure. For real.
Yeah,
We'll
Freak
see you this
Marines.
summer.
Yeah. I don't know. If we made a shirt with Freak Marine, would y'all get it?
Oh, we should for sure make a shirt with freak Marines.
Okay.
Yes.
Any no's?
I don't know. Oh, there's a few. There's a
I
few.
think they're saying no to no though, so it's a
Yeah,
yes.
so it's-
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
True, true.
So true. So true.
Well, thank you,
Alright,
everybody.
y'all.
We love you and
We'll see you this
appreciate
summer.
your support. And we do what we do because of y'all. So thank you.
Literally.
Exactly. And if you're in LA, I'll see y'all on Sunday.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.